Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I want to speak a little bit about what heedlessness, being heedless, and arrogant does to one Islam. With a couple of short tafsirs. Let me give you the definition of arrogant so that it can put this more in perspective of how we should view it. Because a person can be arrogant by the definition, but don't believe that they are arrogant. And then the definitions of what one would consider to be arrogant, and when you use the Arabic language, it could be a little bit more than what we see it as in the English language. So just for the English language, because this is how they choosing to use the word arrogant. So arrogant means exaggerating or disposed to exaggerate one's own worth or importance, often by an overbearing manner, or showing an offensive attitude of superiority. Right? So this is arrogant in that definition. So when we let's start with I pull it up on my phone so I don't have to get all these books down. I got enough of them right here. But anyway, this is from Surah 7, right? Ayah number 146. Now listen to this right here is an extreme warning. This is a punishment from Allah. Like, this is a punishment on this earth. Sometimes as Muslims, we need to go look into the way that Allah punishes us in this life as opposed to being punished in the hereafter. Like, a lot of us familiar with punishment in the grave. A lot of us familiar with punishments in the hellfire. But some people that I converse with, we not really familiar with the ways that Allah punish us in this life. And we may feel that because we have what's considered good materialistic lifestyle, especially in America, we may feel like we not being punished by Allah. Like, just because you may have a few cars, a house, couple of houses, you may feel like you're not being punished by Allah. Like, let's just take somebody like a Bill Gates, for instance. He can burn up billions of dollars and still be a billionaire. He possibly couldn't fathom that he's being punished by Allah. We may not think he's being punished by Allah. So, Surah 7, ayah number 146. Just look at this right here. Because Allah's going to do it. Allah's the one doing it. Right? So the ayat, let me read the ayat first. Right? And then we'll go to the Tafsir. Surah 7, 146. I will turn away from my ayats, my signs, my proofs, my evidences. Right? I shall turn away from my ayats those who act those who act or behave arrogantly on earth, those who act unjustly with arrogance on earth. Right? Now this is Allah saying Allah will, if you have a certain type of arrogance, if you behave unjustly, this doesn't just say with the kuffar or you can pick and choose. This is period. Right? if you being this way unjustly on earth without right, Allah will turn away his ayats, his proofs, his evidence, his signs. That's sun, moon, stars, the signs. Everything is a sign, right? Allah will turn you away from all of it. Even the Quran ayats. Allah will turn you away from all of it. Right? That's a punishment from Allah. Because if you turned away from it, how are you going to be guided aright upon Sirat al-Mustaqim that leads to Allah Azza wa Jalla? So, and then it continues to say, if they see all of the ayats, proofs, evidences, verses, lessons, signs, wahi, revelations, right? If they see it, they will not believe in them. So, let's say we read in the Quran, and when we talking about belief, it's more of an iman inside. If Allah says, don't do this, or if you do this, this will happen, and then you choose to do it anyway, sometimes people don't believe in something fully until it happens to them. So like, yeah, I believe what the Quran say, but do you really? Do you truly believe? Because if you did, you would act different. You wouldn't do some of the things that you do because you would have to believe Allah is going to deal with me, what is going to get to the next ayat that we go to. What's in the hearts, right? Where the hearts is being distracted. Because if you truly believed, we wouldn't do a lot of the things that we do. Nobody's going to be perfect. Everybody's going to be that's going to sin, but we had a remedy for that. There's Tawbah, there's Istighfar. But when you get to the point where you don't seek Tawbah, you don't seek Istighfar, you turn around and justify it and convince yourself that you're not wrong. This is a form of arrogance, right? Where in Islam, where it's saying like the arrogant is the one who they basically rejecting the truth. You rejecting the truth. You changing it. So anyway, listen to what it says though, right? And even if they were to see every sign, every proof, every evidence, they still will not believe in them. If they see the right path, they won't even take it. Right? But if they see a way of error, where it's saying polytheism, crimes, evil deeds, a crooked path, a shortcut, a loophole in the deen. Some people think they have loopholes, right? So if you find these things, if they find those things, they'll take those paths. Look at the punishment in this, right? Allah will turn away from his signs those who act unjust, behave arrogantly on this earth without right. And if they were to see every sign, proof, evidence, verses, lessons, revelations, they won't truly believe in them. And if they see a way of righteousness, piety, of good deeds, right, the right path, they won't take it. But if they see a path that's crooked, loopholes, crimes, a way of being a criminal, and evil deeds and polytheism, multiple belief systems, right, they will follow that. This is because they denied our signs and were heedless. They were heedless of them. And so when I started, I said we're going to talk about arrogance, one and the same, heedless and heedlessness. one and the same. So when you look at the definition of heedless, it says showing a reckless lack of care or attention to an issue. You can be reckless with the Quran, right? We talking about heedless. You can be. Would you feel like only reading your Quran during Ramadan? Would you think that's not being heedless? Some individuals don't read their Quran at all. And not only are they not reading the Quran, they're not reading anything else. Hadiths, books of Minhaj, fiqh, Sharia, biographies of the Rasul, his companions, may Allah be pleased with all of them and have mercy on all of them. Tafsirs, anything. They not reading their Quran and they not reading anything else. This is heedlessness. This is heedless. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is sitting up saying, being heedless is what put people in these type of predicaments. This is a punishment in this life. And you may not ever be able to correct it if you don't turn back to Allah Azza wa Jal and what He's telling, what Allah commands for us to do. See, sometimes in Islam, we have to keep in mind that part of being a Muslim is doing what Allah commands you to do and staying away from what Allah commands you to stay away from. You understand? That's should be baseline. Do what Allah tell you to do to the best of your ability and stay away from what Allah tells you to stay away from with the best of your ability. Sometimes when you just moving in a manner where you not even mindful of either or, you heedless. You can possibly be heedless. In today's time, a lot of Muslims think being a Muslim is just about like if they. The difference between practicing and not practicing is, do you pray? But that may be the difference between kufr and belief. You see what I'm saying? One who prays, who don't pray, can fall into forms of kufr. I don't want to say they're kafir, but we familiar with the ayats and as far as the hadith about the ones who don't pray. So they could say, well, I don't pray, so I'm not practicing. I don't fast, I'm not practicing. But there's a whole lot more. You can pray, right? But what are you praying to? What are you praying for? Are you making salat seeking Jannah? Are you making salat seeking dunya? So there's more to it. But that baseline, obeying Allah Azza wa Jal, your main purpose on being Muslim, obeying Allah Azza wa Jal, and not falling into disobedience. You know what I'm saying? It's not disobedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. It's something that you want to stay away from. This should be your baseline as a Muslim. Like right there, you should build right off the top of that. I'm gonna do what Allah says, tell me to do, and I'm gonna stay away from what Allah tells me to stay away from. And then you build your foundation from there. Because just look at how much these punishments that it leads to, right? So the Tafsir, this one from Ibn Kathir, right? I shall turn away from my ayats those who behave arrogantly on the earth without a right. Allah says, I shall deprive the hearts of those who are too proud to obey me. Subhanallah Adhim. And arrogant with people without right. This all people. So you can't just be like, I could just treat them any type of way because they non-Muslim, or I could treat them any type of way because they not the type of Muslim. They don't call themselves the same Muslim that I call myself. So, and just a pause on this one right here, because I'm now that I'm speaking on this part about just treating people any type of way. When we in the urban Muslim community, a lot of us come from a street life, a street background, gang banging, penitentiary ways, and things like that. So with that came gang culture. No matter what city you in, there's some form of gang clique culture. So in that culture, for instance, we in Illinois, one thing that we used to ask a person was, what you ride? Do you ride the 5? You ride the 6, the 7, the 4, the 3, the trays? What you ride? Basically, what gang are you in? So depending on their answer, that's determines how they're going to get treated by us. Just like if we are asked, the person asked me, I know my answer is going to determine how they treat me. So it's just the same like on the West Coast where they be like, what set you claim? Where you from? As in which hood you from? Depending on your answer determines how they're going to treat you. Now, if they answer and say, okay, I ride what you ride, I'm from the set that you set, you cool with me. But this is the same person. But if they say, oh, well, I ride opposite of what you ride, I'm from the set opposite of yours, I'm from a different hood, although it's the same person, now you're not going to like this person. This person automatically an enemy just because where they say they from. So I'm bringing that up, and this goes into penitentiaries too. Alhamdulillah, I never been. May Allah always protect me from that and never test me with it. I mean, this goes for in a penitentiary too. And then sometimes it's just side of town. What side of town you from? So what I'm bringing that up because we brought that to the deen. And the way we do it is, what masjid you go to. Depending on your answer, that determines how we're going to treat you. Who you listen to. Do you listen to such and such on YouTube? Where'd you study? These things is basically what sect, instead of what sect you from, what sect, S-E-C-T, which Islamic sect are you from? We bring that. And in our urban community, you can be pressed with that. Who you study with, who you studied under. And when you a person who study and you sat with people, you know the reality of these questions. Even so, like in America, when a person press you with that, let's say for instance you say, oh, I sat with Sheikh Fulani Afghani for 7 years. I sat with Sheikh Fulani As-Sudani. Or you know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Sheikh Fulani Min Misr. Right? They not even going to know who they are. See, they come off with this type of an arrogance, and they don't even really know. There's hundreds and thousands of scholars. But then it's going to boil down to whether we accept that as scholar or not. You see what I'm saying? And they generally people who ain't even never sat with no scholars, and that's why they press people with this, because there's basically what sect you from. So don't let these individuals bully you, because you can be the exact same person, and all you got to do is say, oh, okay, well, I listen to the person you listen to. Oh, you cool. Oh, I listen to a different person who you don't know, you never even heard of, but now I'm not cool. But I'm the exact same person. Don't let these individuals bully you. You know what I'm saying? Because some people be too scared. I know people who literally be scared of them finding out that they watched the IMFC video. Oh, they found out I lost IMFC video. They gonna kick me out. They can't kick you out of Islam. Allah Azza wa Jal decides who's a Muslim or not these people, not their group. They don't own the rights to the minhaj. They can't determine that for you. So when you look at this, and then just for the simple fact that they had that behavior, they probably need to take a look into themselves. And like I say, they questioning people, although when they used to have wherever it came from, which I know where it came from, but I know how I got twisted. Where it was a particular scholar made a statement and they twisted it. But they would have this concept, if you buy a book or you reading a book that was written by a scholar, then you're a student of that scholar. But then at the same time, they want to press people who you sat with. Oh, well, I bought a book by Sheikh Uthaymeen, so I'm a student of Sheikh Uthaymeen, so I studied under him. Is that acceptable for you? Well, only if you say you from our group. But see, some people like us, we don't care. You can't determine whether I'm Muslim or not. You can't determine what's going on with me. You need to quit pressing individuals with this gang culture, because this ummah is not your gang. So, like this say, this is behaving arrogantly with people without right. And I'm not going to put a name on it because there's several groups, several different sects. I don't want to say sects because that's kind of insulting. There's several different groups starting to press people with this type of manner. And it's basically depending on which sect you claim, it determines how they're going to treat you. And some people truly be scared of that. Man, they not Allah. You understand? But anyway, so continuing on. So I just want to say all that. Don't let these people bully you. So they're arrogant with people without right, from understanding the signs and proof. Let me start over. Allah says, I shall deprive the hearts of those who are too proud to obey me, and arrogant with people without right, from understanding the signs and proof that testify to my might, my law, and my commandments. This is a punishment. If Allah deprives your heart, this stuff not even going to be in your heart. And this is where a person start to become a mu'min. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and just as they act arrogantly without justification, Allah has disgraced them with ignorance. This is a punishment from Allah. Allah disgraced them with ignorance. And if you really sit back and think about it, some of the behaviors of the Muslims is ignorance. Right? Allah said in another ayat, and we shall turn their hearts and their eyes away from guidance, as they refuse to believe therein for the first time. So when they turned away from the path of Allah, Allah turned their hearts away from the right path. These is punishments from Allah Azza wa Jal in this life. Right? Just a little bit more. So Sufyan bin Uyayna commented on this ayat, I shall turn away from my ayat those who behave arrogantly on the earth without right. Allah says, I shall snatch away comprehension of the Quran from them and turn them away from my ayats. Comprehension of the Quran is not going to come to you if you don't read it enough. Who comprehends anything that they don't read or that they don't study? How can you comprehend it? A lot of times you might not even know what's in it. So Ibn Jarir commented on Sufyan's statement that this indicates that this part of the ayat is addressed to this ummah. This is not necessarily true, for Ibn Uyayna actually meant that this occurs in every ummah, and there is no difference between one ummah and another, an ummah in this regard. So subhanallah. So continuing on to the next ayat in Surah 21, right? I'm just gonna start off the beginning of. Now we're gonna get to the heedless part. But like as you see, as I read in there, some of this arrogance, some of the things, it comes from heedlessness, being heedless. If you're not reading your Quran, if you're not standing your Quran, if you're not touching any tafsirs, And there's millions of ways, not millions to stock for lot, but there's a lot of ways to get yourself educated. There's a lot of institutions with qualified people where you can learn, you can study Tafsirs, you can study a lot of things, right? And some people who don't study under these institutions, or they try to make like these scholars, we on these scholars, this list, that, but they never met them. Some of them don't even know what those scholars even look like. You know what I'm saying? They just have them like, okay, this is a scholar that we listen to, but they Arabic ain't strong enough to listen to them scholars. These is individuals that can teach you. And also, you don't necessarily, everything that you learn doesn't necessarily have to be from a scholar. What I mean is this: a lot of what you already have learned, a scholar didn't teach it to you. And I'm saying that for individuals who try to put this cloak under so they can dictate and determine who is and who ain't a particular type of Muslim. I'm not saying listen to any and everybody. I'm definitely not saying that. There's a lot of bid'ah out there. This is why I'm saying there's a classroom. But you can listen to people who have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, a PhD. There's high. That's why they have. You can listen to Talib of them. You can listen to students. You understand? But they act like they own the term or the rights to the students. Everything doesn't have to come from a scholar, depending on what level it is. You can listen to certain students. There's people in the master's program in Mecca and Medina that have online classes, and they're official. They giving you what they got. Some of it be for free, and then some of it you pay for certain things. And it's official. It's graded. It's homework. There's a lot of ways to learn, basically, is what I'm saying. You just have to get out there. I don't want to promote a particular person, because I don't want people to start coming in the comment just because they don't know them, or because they haven't put them on their list. Oh, well, that person is a deviant because they gave a lecture at this masjid. Those type of bullying tactics. You see what I'm saying? It's either listen to us or else. As if so basically, like, okay, this whole Muslim region of certain area of Africa, Tanzania. So every last one of them not qualified to be Muslim because they don't listen to y'all in America. All these individuals over here in the Sudan, all these individuals over here in Kuwait, all these people in Egypt, they not qualified for anything because they not part of they not part of the sect you claim. Come on, man, we got to bring this deen back to reality. We need to be looking for ways to be peaceful with one another, not as opposed to this pressing, where your masjid, who your masjid. Your masjid ain't a masjid because it don't have a Superman symbol on it. This is ignorance, man. Regardless to which group is doing it, because there's more than one group. This is dividing the ummah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like on this block, it's all houses and apartment buildings. Everybody got the same apartment building. Then there's one across the street. If you never went inside of somebody else's house over there, but because you seen somebody go over there, you can't determine what go on in that house. You can't sit down and say that ain't a house. Just imagine me saying, anybody know where any Fulani houses is? If it ain't a Fulani house, I can't go to it. Like, what is a Fulani house? But anyway, not to get into that. I'm just saying, man, it's starting to get corny. It's starting to get corny. And it's really not benefiting the people. And then if you astaghfirullah, that ain't past my knee, but astaghfirullah. But anyway, anybody who once you start to sitting down and you intermingle with some of these individuals, you'll be like this. Like what is y'all really, what is you really doing? What is y'all really doing? So this is behaving arrogantly without right. And like I said, what scholars you sit with? You could probably name about 10 scholars. And they not even going to know him. Oh, he's not known. According to who? He got thousands of students. You know what I'm saying? They done taught thousands of people. But anyway, just to get to so this one is in Surah 21, right? We're gonna do the first 3 ayats, right? 1. This, to me, I take this as a warning, where it says the day of reckoning for mankind has drawn near. The day of reckoning for mankind has drawn near. That's a warning. And yet the people turn away in heedlessness. What was that definition of heedlessness? Showing a reckless lack of care or attention. It's time to quit being reckless with your deen and pay serious attention, because the day of reckoning has drawn near. Right? No fresh revelations comes to them from their Lord. Ain't nothing new coming down. Ain't no more wahi coming. There's no more prophets coming to clean this up. Right? No fresh revelations come to them from their Lord, but they listen to it in ridicule. We'll get to the tafsir of that. They listen to it in ridicule. They're not even taking it serious. Ridicule, ridiculous. You tie them together. Matter of fact, just for I like to do this for everybody, right? I do it for myself. We're gonna look up the root word ridicule. So the definition, right? The subject of someone or something and just being dismissive of it. Having a dismissive behavior, not taking it serious. Still tying in the heedlessness. Almost like it's a joke. Like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or distorting it. Oh, well, I took my shahada, so I'm only going to be in, if I end up in a hellfire, it'll just be for a little while. Which is things I heard. As long as I got my shahada, I won't be in a hellfire forever. So I'm just going to do whatever I want. It's like prison. like I have this saying. This is something I say. Because in Illinois, they have a thing like where they say to people, he throwing rocks at the penitentiary. Basically, like, they committing so much crime, or they ain't changed none of their ways. They so close to prison that if they throw a rock, they can hit it. They this close to going to prison. I sit down and say, throwing rocks at the hellfire. You know what I'm saying? Just like you see people coming home, as soon as they come home, they already throwing rocks at the penitentiary. You just got out. You throwing rocks at the penitentiary already? This mentality, I got my shahada, so I only be in a hellfire for a little bit. This isn't going to change a person. You see what I'm saying? They don't even fear the fire. This is something that Allah Azza wa Jal tell us in the Quran to fear. That's one of the things we should fear. Fear the fire. That ain't no fear. I'll only be in the hellfire for a little bit. You throwing rocks at the hellfire. Right? So, like I say, no fresh revelations come to them from their Lord, but they listen to it in ridicule, with their hearts being distracted. That's that key word. Their hearts being distracted. preoccupied with trifle matters, dunya, foolishness, issues that don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? If I walk outside and I see a Muslim, some people getting ready to jump a Muslim who got a thobe on. I see him in a thobe, I see him in a kufi, a keffiyeh, or whatever he got on. I recognize that he's a Muslim by his dress. And I walk out on my porch and I see some people who non-Muslims getting ready to put their hands on them that I know. And I do like this. Hey, salam alaikum. Like, hey, y'all hold up for a second. Salam alaikum, ma. He be like, walaikum salam. And I be like, who you study with? Who'd you study with? What masjid you go to? And then based off the answer he give me, and I be like, oh, okay, I ain't satisfied with that answer. And then I go in the house and let them jump on him. That's trifle. No, I gotta go. If I can go out there, and I know these people, and man, y'all leave him alone, man. That's a Muslim brother. Same with a sister. Sister out there, niqab, hijab, whatever, face showing, eyes showing, whatever. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You alright? Well, no, not really. These brothers bothering me. Who you sit under? Where'd you study? So I can determine, is she worthy of my assistance or not? Who comes up with that? You Ashari, you Hanafi, you Maliki, you Shafi'i, you Salafi, you Sunni. What are you? Basically just like that jail mentality, that street mentality. What set you claim? What's your hood? What you ride? What side of the city you from? That's that same mentality, and we bringing it to the deen. And there is some individuals based off the answer or just knowing that person, they may look and see a Muslim in trouble. Oh man, that Muslim go to such and such masjid. You think Allah's going to accept these type of things? And then because you think that type of behavior is right, you don't seek istighfar. You don't ask Allah to forgive you for that. You don't make tawbah from that type of behavior because you see nothing wrong with it. This is arrogance and this is heedlessness in accordance with Quran al-Kareem. You treating people in the wrong type of manner for the wrong type of reasons. And so like it say, that Quran I read, it said, even if you see every ayat, even if you just limit it to the Quran, even if you read everything in the Quran, your comprehension of it will be snatched away. Behaving with people like this. So look, just going on with this, with their hearts distracted, the wrongdoers whisper to one another in secret. Now this is how they start to turn people away. This is how sophisticated people can turn people away from the Sunnah. So listen to what it says. The wrongdoers whisper to one another in secret, is this man not a human being like yourselves? Will you then follow his magic with your eyes wide open? Now the reason why I'm bringing this to the Muslim on Muslim, because you have Muslims, this is where in this particular time, these was individuals who seen other people that was becoming Muslim, or they was being affected by the message that the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was bringing. So this is what they saying to him. This dude ain't nothing but a man like you. You gonna follow his magic? These type of things, right? In the Muslim Ummah, you have individuals who say, you gonna sit up there and read hadiths? They ain't nothing but superstition. Just like they use the word magic, they'll use the word superstition. That stuff ain't nothing but superstition and different things like this. This is the same mentality. But let's get into the Tafsir. Bismillah ta'ala, right? Where no fresh revelations comes to them. Hold on, let me go to the... Hold on. This is an expression of amazement at people's attitude at the fact that no reminder moves them, and they do not pay any attention to any warner, for their reckoning has drawn near, and the requital of their deeds, both good and bad, is at is at hand, but they are turning away in heedlessness, paying no attention to the purpose for which they were created and ignoring that of which they have been warned. And if they were created for this world and were born merely to enjoy physical pleasures therein, Allah keeps renewing the reminder and exhortation to them, but they persist in their negligence and turning away. Hence Allah says, no fresh revelations come to them from their Lord, reminding them of that which will benefit them and urging them to do it, and reminding them of that which will harm them and warning them against it. But they listen to it in a manner of listening that establishes proof against them. Where it said listening in ridicule, it says they listen in a manner to where the proof is going to be established against them. You putting yourself in a position where you're worthy of punishment in this life and the next. You opening up the door for Allah Azza wa Jal to allow anything to happen to you or anything to be done to you. Your deen gonna be taken away from you, but you might think you still on your deen. You gonna be. So look, and then it continues to say, right, in ridicule with their hearts distracted. That is, their hearts are heedless. See how we keep this heedless term keep coming up? Their hearts are heedless and turned away, distracted by worldly concerns and idle pursuits. Idle pursuits. Anybody ever, like when your car run idle and different things? Idle pursuits. You're really not getting anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Idle pursuits. SubhanAllah. Thing. Let me bring that back. With their hearts distracted. That is, their hearts are heedless and turn away, distracted by worldly concerns and idle pursuits. They are distracted by physical pleasures, striving for false purposes, and ridiculing the message that the messengers came with, right? Even though what they should do is something other than that. SubhanAllah. So you ridiculing the message, but you focused on lust with your physical pleasures, your lust, striving for false purposes, things that don't matter, that don't mean nothing, stuff Allah don't even care about, when you should be doing the opposite of that. Or other than that, you're supposed to be striving for what Allah tell you to strive for. You should be striving for Jannah. Look what it say though. And even though what they should do is something other than that, their hearts should be focused on the commands and prohibitions of Allah. Like I said, that baseline, commands and prohibition, that baseline of being what it takes to be a Muslim. Commands, do what Allah tell you to do. Then on the flip side, stay away from what Allah tells you to do. Build your foundation off of that. Find out what all Allah wants you to do and what all Allah wants you to stay away from, and start striving for those things. So like it even said right here, their hearts should be focused on the commands and prohibitions of Allah, and they should listen to the message in such a way that they understand the intended meaning. And they should strive physically to worship their Lord, which is the purpose for which they were created. And they should be mindful of the resurrection, reckoning, and recompense. By doing that, they will attain what they aspire for. Their affairs will be put in order, and their deeds will become righteous. So right there, you're going to get what you're looking for. Allah going to give it to you. When it should be their main focus, should be Jannah. And like when you notice, it used the hearts a lot of time in Quran al-Kareem. When the Quran came down, it was put into the hearts of men. And I'm paraphrasing a hadith, but there's a hadith where it says, in the beginning, amana, which a lot of people just put it as basic trust, like I trust you, when it's really more than that. But in the beginning of Wahi, the amana was put into the hearts of the people, right? Then they started to learn it in the Quran, how to hold to it, but it was put into their hearts, not their minds. It was put into their hearts. Then they learned it from the Quran, how to act up on these trusts, how to uphold these trusts, kind of like a trust fund. When you put your money in a trust and it accumulates, it grows over time. More like that form of a trust. Trustworthiness is part of it, because you trust that your money is going to be safe in this trust, but it should accumulate and grow over time. So then, after they learned it from the Quran, then they learned it from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then it get to a point where it started to be removed from the people. Trustworthiness and this and that. So just paraphrasing that hadith to let you know, when you see the Quran talking about the hearts and these things was put into the heart, the Quran was sent to the heart, that's that focal point. Quran al-Kareem really speaks to the hearts of the people. Once you start to delve so much into the deen, Bithni Allah Ta'ala, it'll start to be in your heart. Just like people who came from the streets, that gang life or whatever they had, that stuff be in their heart. You want Islam to be in it. Just like when somebody can listen to particular music and then they take on a persona of that particular rapper. A person may listen to, these newer rappers, some of these people listen to it, and then what they saying, it resonate with them in their heart. I can relate to them. I can feel that in them. This is what the deen is supposed to do to you. Some people can watch a movie and see a particular character in that movie. It resonate with them. And it stick with them. That's why I thank Allah Azza wa Jal. It was a particular companion. It was really, it started off with a hadith, right? Where it said, I'm paraphrasing it, a day is going to come where the Muslim believer is just going to go off into a mountain or just go out to a place far away and be alone with his Lord and just his few little belongings. You know what I'm saying? Their spouse, their sheep, whatever it takes for them to survive, and they just want to be away with their Lord. I read that hadith when I first started reading hadiths, and it stuck to me, right? Because I felt that way. I was always just trying to get away and just go off and be good alone. Because you have to know when to walk away. You have to know when to walk away. So then later on, as I started to read and started to learn about companions, I seen that this actual hadith was what ended up happening to Abu Dhar. So once I seen that, then it was another hadith where I read and I started reading about the life of Abu Dhar. I felt like we were similar. Like I've resonated with that person more than anybody that ever. I've never resonated and felt like I was a rapper, but Abu Dhar was that one person. But it started with the hadith that was based off of what he ended up doing. When that time came, Abu Dhar was that one. And Abu Dhar is somebody that's going to be raised alone. So that's somebody that you should look into. And I'm going to close out on this, man, and hopefully this will speak to the hearts of the Muslim. So keep in mind, closing on that, before I say this, that Quran speaks to your heart. What should be on the inside. Start to deal with it enough to where it resonate with you, where when you live in your life and you come across a situation and then an ayat in the Quran comes across your mind and teach you how to deal with this situation. Get into those hadiths where you can start to know how to implement and put the Quran into practice. If Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wife Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, when asked about his character and she said he basically was a walking and talking Quran, then that should let you know that the hadiths teach you how to be a walking, talking Quran. Basically, he lived the Quran. Have you not read the Quran? Have you not read the Quran? Yeah, I read it. That was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hadiths, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaching you how to live the Quran on an everyday, daily basis. Get it in your heart. So hopefully, man, this will kind of speak to the hearts of the people. I kind of had like I kind of call it survivor's remorse. Sometimes you and some people may start on a journey. It might be an exercise journey. Like every year, you might know a few people that's heavy set, want to get in shape. It might be about 6-7 people. But if one person fall off, 2 people fall off. The next thing you know, all of them fall off. But every once in a while, that one person will stick to that journey. And then they'll lose weight, they'll start getting healthier. Then they change their life. Then they start looking better. Then that same group, look at them different. Oh, you think you better than everybody now. But hold on. This was all of our goal in the beginning. Just because I stuck to it and got here, now you want to belittle me because you didn't have what it take or you didn't want to put in the work to get here. Sometimes Islamically, you and some people can set out on the same journey. And I hear like certain students of knowledge, when we was in high school, we was all a clique, we was inseparable. Me, my guy, and them, we all talked about going to the university. We all got accepted. Fulan and Fulan flunked out. Fulan fell off Deen in Medina. Completely left Islam. Quit praying, quit doing everything. And now that I'm home and I'm on this plateau, because I've outgrew the life that we was living 10, 15 years ago. Now I think I'm better, or now I think this and now I think that. But we set out to achieve the same things. So sometimes, man, you still want that for your people. I see people who was married. I done seen wives who was married to men, and they put a lot of pressure on them brothers. And then the female fell off Deen, and the brother ended up becoming excellent. I done seen vice versa. I done seen brothers put a lot of pressure on sisters. Oh, your Deen this, your Deen that, you need to study, you need to do this and need to do that. And then they fell off Deen. And she remained. You know what I'm saying? And now, just like with them brothers, they kind of look at it and be like, is this who that person was that whole time? You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just have to keep in mind, man, the pressure that they put on you, they couldn't withstand it. You understand? They couldn't withstand that same pressure. And that's why they where they are, and that's why where you are. So sometimes, man, you have to deal with survivor's remorse, because you're going to still look at them and be like, I wish they was here. I wish they was here. You know what I mean? I wish, we should all be on this. But it don't happen, man, and it'll affect the heart. You could look at, just look at some of the time when you listen to the stories of some of the companions and this and that, and some of them accepted Islam and some of them didn't, and they ended up having to go to war with them, but they wanted, that was my guy in the dunya. You know what I'm saying? I wish they was here. So survivor's remorse is something else, man, and I know some Muslims, man, who have Muslims in their family, and they so disappointed in them that their behavior make them question Islam. Don't question Islam, question them. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, something ain't right about Islam. No, something ain't right about them. Know what I'm saying? Don't question Islam. Oh man, Islam might not be real if it's not fixing them. Nothing can fix them. Allah done turned them away from all of his ayats. If the right path is put in front of them and then a crooked path is put in front of them, they're going to choose the crooked path. Allah is telling us that in the Quran. You got to be able to view it through the eyes of the deen. Don't question Islam because they can't get themselves together. They not reading, they not studying, they not learning nothing. You see what I'm saying? It's survivor's remorse. Let's say you an accomplished individual and you taking care of your business and then they didn't. Are you going to question whether you should keep taking care of your business because they don't? You know what I'm saying? They not taking care of their business because it's not written for them. They not cut out for it. They not dean and they not doing their thing, man, because whatever reasons. But they may have behaved in a manner where Allah made it to where they can't even comprehend this deen. Allah is telling us in the Quran that He will do that. But Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Any mistakes I made came from myself and the shaitan. Anything I said that was correct came from Allah Azza wa Jalla Muqtadir wal Alim wal Basir. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.